to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to a bumper edition of Patrick Christys Tonight Late Edition. Breaking right now. Big Brother is watching you if you're concerned about migrant hotels and two-tier justice. This front page on the Daily Telegraph is going to make absolute waves. I'm telling you, someone's head is going to have to roll over this. Apparently the government has set up a spy unit and it's been complaining to social media firms for you saying things like the phrase fighting age males. Meanwhile,
these investigations, questions, allegations be examined publicly, or does he have the right to remain innocent and secret, if you will, until proven otherwise?
following calls for hard left-wing activist James O'Brien to be sacked, I will be joined by the former Tory MP. He says he's ruined his life. Meanwhile,
just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history.
Just over a year ago, this book. Right, anyway, Kamala Harris has released a new book. She can't wait to read it to you. Plus,
Keir Starmer.
There's been a surge in the name of Mohammed's, apparently, which sees the extinction of the name Keir. Tonight I'm going to be joined by a real-life Keir. Get him while you still can, I suppose, but I won't say which Keir. Well, joining me tonight, we have got former Conservative MP Anna Firth, former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larzer, GB News contributor and comedian and fan favourite, it's Paul Cox. But let's get your news with Aaron Armstrong.
Thank you, Patrick. Good evening to you. Let's get you up to date with the headlines. President Trump has described Russia's actions in Ukraine as disgusting and says he will impose sanctions on Moscow. At least 15 people were killed and hundreds more wounded earlier after a barrage of Russian aerial attacks on Kyiv. A 9-story apartment block collapsed as missiles and drones hit numerous locations across the capital. Authorities say a 6-year-old boy and his mother were among the dead. Well, President Trump previously said he would hit Moscow with secondary sanctions and tariffs unless a ceasefire is agreed by the 8th of August.
Russia, I think it's disgusting what they're doing. I think it's disgusting. This is Biden's war. It's not my war. But I said if I get in, I'll try and get the thing stopped. Yeah, we're going to put sanctions. I don't know that sanctions bother him. You know, they know about sanctions. I know better than anybody about sanctions and tariffs and everything else. I don't know if that has any effect, but we're going to do it. Europe is extremely upset. But this is a war that should have never happened.
Meanwhile, Trump's Middle East envoy will visit Gaza on Friday to inspect food distribution sites and attempt to restart ceasefire negotiations. Steve Witkoff met the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier amid growing pressure on the Trump administration to address what aid agencies are describing as an unfolding famine. The UN says more than 1,000 people have been killed. While seeking aid, it has strongly criticised the distribution hubs run by a US-backed company. Israel and the US blame Hamas for the crisis. A 76-year-old man's been arrested on suspicion of administering poison after 8 children fell ill at a summer camp in Leicestershire. Police were called to the village of Strathern on Sunday. The children were taken to hospital as a precaution before being discharged. The suspect was arrested at a nearby public house on Monday evening. He remains in custody, and the police watchdog has confirmed it's investigating the force's handling of the incident. Nurses have overwhelmingly rejected the government's latest pay offer, raising the prospect of further strikes. The Royal College of Nursing says the 3.6% offer is not enough, and many in the profession feel deeply undervalued. 91% of 170,000 nurses in England who turned out voted against the award. Union leaders are warning the government must boost the pay or face possible strike action. And a local councillor has stepped down so his wife can take part in their town's garden competition. Tony Hewitt was a Reform councillor in County Durham for a month, but resigned when his wife Rita's entry into the Ferry Hill in Bloom contest was raised as a possible conflict of interest. The council should have 17 members, but only has 7 currently. And Mr Hewitt ran unopposed earlier this year. His wife Rita says he would have made a great councillor. Tony says he'd do anything for her happiness. Those are your headlines. Now it's back over to Patrick.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Let's get stuck straight into Friday's front pages. The Sun, the main story is about Harry Redknapp and how a gang of hammer thieves stole into... I've made it sound like they nick hammers, don't I? Hammer-wielding thieves broke in and nicked his wife's jewellery. But the more interesting story for me, sorry, Harry, is on the side there, actually, which is a terrorist admits to 7/7 blast. This is a terrorist plotter. He's called Haroon Aswat. He's in US custody, and we might be about to take him into Britain here. So remarkable. The Daily Telegraph, this is the biggie. Labour bid to silence migrant hotel critics. It looks as though there's been a secret spy group behind the scenes set up to genuinely spy on your social media posts, report them to social media companies and try to get them taken down because of very spurious claims that you might have been doing things like stirring up racial hatred, even though they just include phrases like fighting age males, which unfortunately is a fact, isn't it? Most of the men coming across the channel are fighting age males, and the Labour government can't stop me saying that. The Daily Express. Bank warned to cut rates twice. No, that was yesterday's. Record number of foreign sex offenders in British prisons. There we are. So, yeah, huge numbers. And the rate of increase of sex offences amongst foreigners has risen at nearly 3 times, more than 3 times that of Brits. The Eye. No negotiations with terrorists. Starmer defends ultimatum to Israel, but won't issue an apology to Hamas. The Metro, poisoned at the summer camp. Really bizarre story. The 76-year-old man is currently in custody because he's accused of, poisoning a load of kids at a summer camp, basically. The Guardian, the mathematics of how starvation, how Israel has caused a famine in Gaza. The Times, 1 in 8 of all prisoners were born overseas. The Mail, proof Starmer smashed the gang's campaign is a joke. They're going off the actual numbers that have come across the channel. They said that Wednesday's arrivals were 898. We've hit 25,000 for the year. And bringing up the rear is the Mirror, poisoned at summer camp. The same story that's on one of the other papers. Let's get straight into the Daily Telegraph's front page. The detail on this is quite astonishing, actually, which is that there appears to be essentially a secret, not anymore, of course, a secretive Whitehall spy unit that has been used by the government to target social media posts criticising migrant hotels and two-tier policing. This is a big revelation. It's one of those things where a conspiracy theory turns out to be true, I think, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, I think it is. And, I mean, it's you said at the top, this is going to, I think, become one of the biggest stories of now. And you think how incredible that is, given how big the stories are that's swimming around at the moment. It's ridiculous. Every day, Matthew, your party, I said this to Matthew in the break, I'm going to blame him directly for this, it's Matthew's problem, Matthew's fault. But every day, every day the Labour Party seem to come out with something slightly more sinister than you can believe they're possible of achieving. And this is it, isn't it? The idea that they would... I mean, I had a quick flick through, and I recently accused the government of a sort of state-sponsored terrorism because of the migrant hotels. It's quite a serious accusation. Yeah, I'm a comedian, so I can just hide behind the satire of it all. But I genuinely mean it. I mean, the idea of putting fighting-age males all
you're trying to
all full of...
Watch out. Watch out,
I was doing it with a smile on my face, Matthew. Satire.
I'm reporting you, there we go.
But of course you are. Yeah, of course you are. Straight on the phone to one of your weirdo Labour people. Look, it's going to become massive, this, I think, because the uprising is now not just the fringes of society that are complaining about this. It's mums... It's people that are scared for their children.
No, this is a shocker. The second paragraph of this story, it's another killer. So it goes... We can reveal, the Telegraph, that officials working for Peter Kyle, the technology secretary, have flagged videos with, quotes, concerning narratives to social media giants, including TikTok, warning they were exacerbating tensions on the streets. So, Matthew, earlier this week, when Peter Kyle was out in the media, liberally tossing around the idea that people are paedophiles or paedophile adjacent or mates with Jimmy Savile, if you oppose, on the same side as Jimmy Savile,
on the same side,
and he said on the same side as paedophile, and he said on the same side as paedophiles as well. He did say that if you oppose the Online Safety Act, right? Well, now it comes that his department has been trying to force social media companies to stop people from posting things about migrant hotels, that whatever they deem to be concerning narratives. That's why he was coming out trying to demonise people who opposed it, wasn't it?
No, I'm not. I doubt there's a link between the two, because I'm not sure that he actually would have known until the Telegraph got this story that this was coming up. And presumably the Telegraph only told the department earlier today. It's the usual way so that they don't get tipped off to another newspaper. Look, I think that this appears that this unit predates the Labour government, so I'm not saying that two wrongs make a right, but it appears that it started in COVID, or at least came into its own during COVID, as the government would see it. Clearly, there are things that need to be reported to social media companies. There is racism and nasty stuff out there, but just so you know, there's clearly a level, and it sounds to me like that level hasn't been reached in a lot of these cases.
And Anna, some of the things that apparently were reported to this secretive department and to social media were. Officials, an example was, of Pakistani men celebrating on a street in Manchester, and someone said, this looks more like Islamabad but it's Manchester. Right? I mean, that may be true.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, isn't it? We have, in this country, something is not libellous, it's not actionable if it is true, and if a reasonable person would not say that it was inciting hatred.
Yeah.
Well, that is not inciting hatred, and it probably is true. So there's absolutely no reason for that sort of thing to be reported to anybody. But what's really sinister about this is it would appear that this monitoring, this surveillance, was going on last August. during the Southport riots, when there were real concerns. People were expressing real concerns about
There was
immigration.
also misinformation then, as we know.
There was some misinformation, that's true. But what the government is doing
So some of that came from government.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, in fact, Keir Starmer should have been reported for saying that people were being far right if they were concerned about rape grooming gangs. Because,
I'm not sure he has.
Well, yeah, jumping on the bandwagon.
well, something to that effect. Anyway, the point is, this is sinister. This is clamping down on free speech rather than addressing people's real and heartfelt and genuine concerns about the level of immigration in this country.
The word sinister was batted around there, Paul, and it does seem as though. If we get into a situation, which actually we're in now, so we might as well stop messing about, but we're in the situation now, aren't we, where we feel, I think, that there are secretive things going on behind the scenes in government to monitor what you say, what you do, and potentially criminalise you for having an opinion on what is the most important issue of the day, really, which is immigration, both legal and illegal. That's a problem for Britain.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good and important point. It is about one particular subject. The way that the Keir Starmer was able to quickly react to last summer's protests in Southport was astonishing. If you look just a few months later, a Muslim man was able to punch a policewoman in the face. Labour Party members were able to stand up in defence of him, and then he had to wait a whole year to go to trial to be convicted for something, and then we got to see the whole video. If you take that back to the protests of last summer, they were able to turn around that sort of level of conviction in about 3 days and send people to prison for 3 years. Now, if that chap, when he gets sentenced, doesn't get more than Lucy Connolly, we're going to see a huge problem.
One thing I will just say about that is, obviously, he was found, just to be sort of very clear on that, he was found guilty of 2 counts. The jury couldn't reach a verdict in 1 count, and they couldn't reach a verdict in the case of his brother, which does mean there is going to be a re-trial. And therefore, obviously, and I know that's not what your intention was, we would not want to say anything that could in any way contempt that case. They plead not guilty to all of the outstanding charges, and that is important to say. But, yes. So, look, what has to happen now? Practically speaking, what has to happen? Does Peter Kyle... Excuse me, he's got me. He's got me now. Does Peter Kyle...
You've been silent.
I've been silent. Labour have got me. Does he have to come out and say... He was all over the media like a rash earlier this week, and now where is he on it? Does he have to come out and say, I'm sorry, I distanced myself from this?
I think he has to clarify what's been going on. And I think, you're right, this cannot be a one-way street. There was clearly hate speech from Islamist extremists and other extremists that needs to be... that should be reported to TikTok and others as well. And as we know, the social media is exploited by people traffickers.
They are.
And you think they might be reported, so we need to know what's going on.
I'd like to see that happen. Now, just I want to move you on to another big story, but it's the sidebar of tomorrow's Sun newspaper. Terrorist admits to 7/7 blast. The terror plotter has finally confessed to being the mastermind of the 7/7 attacks. He's called Haroon Aswat, but he's been in US custody for quite a while. And now, Anna, they might be about to send him back to Britain.
We absolutely do not want this terror plotter back here. I mean, you wonder, don't you? You actually wonder if this is his plan.
Yeah.
Is that why he's making this admission? But no, why on earth would we countenance having him back here? For what reason would we have him back here? I mean, he'd only be locked up over here, and why would the UK taxpayer want to pay for that?
I think he is here. I've had a quick look at the inside story.
Oh, right.
Yes, and I think he has... there's an issue about whether he can be released from Broadmoor. Now, it's quite...
Apologies, sorry, yes, not that he's back. They can be released. Sorry, it's my fault. Yes.
And the issue is that he confessed while he was in the US. It's quite complicated.
Sorry, that's my fault.
He confessed when he was in the US,
and
therefore it's whether or not... But that wasn't originally taken into account, and therefore whether his subsequent confessions... I'm not saying it's great.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. So the story seems to be about him being released onto UK streets.
It's actually worse, isn't it?
Yes. From Broadmoor.
So I think my point remains.
Yes. No.
So it's worse. Yes. So he could now be released. He could now be released from prison.
Yeah. The Sun says he could be released from a secure psychiatric unit within days thanks to a legal loophole blocking him from being subjected to stringent risk checks.
This is just...
How can you go from a secure psychiatric ward to the streets on the basis of a nuance in some paperwork somewhere, Matthew? Again, Matthew. By the way, I'm not saying that Matthew is defending it, although in the break he did. He just said he wouldn't. But how can that be the next step? Oh, we've got this loophole within our system. Oh well, take him out of the psychiatric ward, put him onto the streets.
Can I just
That is an insane loophole, isn't it?
I want to read this guy's CV out. Right, it's a Sarah CV. In 1999, he helped at Finsbury Park Mosque with hate preacher Abu Hamza to set up a US-based terror camp. In 2002, he stayed at an al-Qaeda safe house in Pakistan. He met the 7/7 bombers. The 7/7 bombers then bombed. That year, he was arrested in Zambia while possessing a terrorist manual and suspected parts to an actual bomb. He fought extradition on mental health grounds. Right, he's got form, this guy. Fought extradition on mental health grounds. After a 9-year battle, he was then sent to the United States. A year later, he pleaded guilty to terror charges. His 20-year jail term there was cut to 7 years because of the time he was detained in Broadmoor. He's then deported back to Britain, there we go, and was kept under the Mental Health Act. There you go. Doctors say he's well enough to be released.
He's actually, sorry, my bad, he's actually in the Bethlehem Royal Hospital in South London, not in Broadmoor.
But it doesn't really matter. Doctors say, it doesn't matter, he's going to be living next door to us soon. Yeah. Doctors say he's well enough to be released. I wonder whether or not that doctor's well.
Yeah, it can't be. I mean, come on, Matthew, justify this.
I'm not going to defend it. I predict that Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, will find another loophole to try and keep him in hospital very quickly.
I hope so.
Yes. Preferably in Broadmoor, not in South London or East London.
This is unbelievable. The latest psychological
because he can't be risk assessed while detained, according to UK law.
I would say that's the best time to assess.
I literally understand.
Don't let them out and invite them back next Tuesday and say, we'll have a chat with you next week.
What could go wrong?
A 2022 report by psychiatrist Dr. Richard Taylor, as reported by The Sun, concluded he still posed a serious risk.
But I'll let him out. The thing is with these psychiatrists, they never move in with them, do they?
No, they don't. But this has come up before in other cases, hasn't it? This is a loophole that is consistently exploited. I would have thought that's exactly when you do want to assess someone.
Yeah, that's
when they
So
are
apparently,
detained.
the High Court was told that owing to his detention, he was not allowed to be assessed under extremism risk guidance protocols,
honestly,
wherever they may be.
Got to go. Guys, it's just ridiculous. I'm talking of things that have got to go. So have we, because... but this is big. James O'Brien's about to get it.
These investigations, questions, allegations be examined publicly, or does he have the right to remain innocent and secret, if you will, until proven otherwise?
It's the biggest stain, and this is a tough thing to say, but it's the biggest stain on James O'Brien's career, this. And we're going to be speaking to a man, former Tory MP, who says that James O'Brien helped to try to ruin his life. Stay tuned.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very, very easy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GBNews, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is the small boat crossing that everyone can cheer on, going from Fulham all the way back to HMS President in the city of London. It's going very well. I've walked 10 miles this morning with some Armed Forces veterans, their families, campaigners. GB News is raising money for SAFA and other Armed Forces charities as part of that Armed Forces Day celebration. Amazing viewers and listeners have raised £2,000 already. And after that gruelling 10-miler, which I have to say was done at quite a gentle pace, are now being treated to this luxurious return back to the starting point on board an HMS, a Royal Navy vessel. This is President 01. This is a training vessel that they use for reservists and also Royal Navy sailors as they make use of the Thames. We've had some great sights already. As we've been going back, we've seen plenty of people taking part in that SAFA 13 Bridges march, waving down on us. I think they were probably slightly jealous that they're still working away and we're enjoying the hospitality of the Royal Navy. But over 1,200 people taking part today, Dawn. Over 150 of them military reservists like myself and Will Mayrick, the producer for today's programme, doing excellent work. he's an RAF officer. In fact, I have to call him sir, which can get very embarrassing. But we're doing great work today, I think, really showcasing the armed forces. It's been amazing to speak to so many veterans, their families, and also many serving personnel on this march today as well. And we're just coming under, there's Vauxhall Bridge there. We've got MI6 to the right, very exciting. Always a beautiful sight, that iconic building. And there's going to be a lot of people still on the march as we go past, we accept. We just had some waves from the bridge earlier.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Now, my next guest was brutally subjected to a trial by media in the Westminster paedophile ring scandal, which, of course, turned out to be invented by a dangerous fantasist. But one broadcaster who gave the fake story a huge amount of airtime was James O'Brien. And former Conservative MP Harvey Proctor has written in the Daily Telegraph about how James O'Brien tried to ruin his life. Now, here he was at the time.
These investigations, questions, allegations be examined publicly, or does he have the right to remain innocent and secret, if you will, until proven otherwise?
I'm very pleased to say that Harvey Proctor joins me now. Harvey, thank you very, very much. Could you just explain to us, please, exactly what you feel James O'Brien did to you?
Good evening to you, and good evening to your viewers. It's a long story, Operation Midland, but in 2015, almost 10 years ago, I threw a press conference. I opened myself up to the media to discuss Operation Midland and the allegations that have been made against me. Mr. O'Brien had been on his radio show with the perpetrator of the allegations, of the lies, a chap called Carl Beach, now serving 18 years in prison for falsehoods and perverting the course of justice, fraud, and being a paedophile. But James O'Brien gave oxygen to Mr. Beach and to those in Exaro, a defunct now press agency, who were supporting him and attacking me and others. It is remarkable that my life, my private life, has been an open book, really, over the years. But strangely, after 10 years, I'd held my fire. I congratulate the Daily Telegraph on printing my article on their net, and I think in tomorrow's paper too. I congratulate them for taking this on. But what I found out only recently was that Mr. O'Brien said that I'd lied about what happened to me in 1986 and 1987, again about my private life. I did not lie. And I'm concerned that LBC are giving a platform, or continue to give a platform, to somebody who lies on their radio programme.
Well, I just want to be clear for people, Harvey, if that's okay.
Mr. O'Brien's position.
Yes, OK, sorry. I want to be clear on something. So this was part of that. It was a huge story at the time. Again, I stress it turned out to be made up, didn't it, by this fantasist Carl Beach. Huge story at the time that there'd been this Westminster paedophile ring, of which you were essentially accused of being a part. And you were, if you don't mind me asking you this, I mean, you were accused of like the most heinous possible things, weren't you, Harvey?
I was accused of serial child murder, all false, and demonstrably proved to be false Subsequently, has Mr. O'Brien apologised to me or to anybody else? No. He seems to prefer lies to truth. And I think LBC should not continue to allow this to continue. I think they should look at Mr. O'Brien.
Well, we've been to LBC, and in turn also put something to James O'Brien via LBC. We are yet to hear anything back. Unfortunately, I can't put something to him directly on social media because he's blocked me, but he appears to have blocked quite a lot of people, Harvey. What impact did this have on your life? What impact did, in your view, what James O'Brien was doing have on your life?
He and others like Tom Watson, the then deputy leader of the Labour Party, who met Carl Beech at the House of Commons, and of course the Metropolitan Police believing Beech and saying he was credible and true before they started investigating Operation Midland at all. The effect on all of that was to lose me my job, my home which went with my job, my repute, everything went, and nearly my life. So I have been patient and waited and decided now is the time to confront Mr. O'Brien. I doubt whether he'll have the credibility himself to apologise to me, but he certainly apologised to the likes of Field Marshal Lord Bramall, Lady Britain on her husband's behalf, Lord Britain, Ted Heath, and others. But an apology might be helpful all these years afterwards, when it's quite clear that we were all innocent.
Why now, Harvey? Two questions in one, Harvey, if that's okay. So why are you deciding to publish this now and say all of this now when you've bided your time for so long? And the second question will be, why do you think that James O'Brien jumped on this bandwagon? Is it that you think he hates Conservatives so much that he was perfectly happy to potentially drink the Kool-Aid on what turned out to be a fake paedophile scandal?
I have never spoken to him. More to the point, he has never spoken to me. Why now? Because I've only recently seen, albeit it was 10 years ago, and I was going off to Spain when I had death threats against, so I didn't see it at the time, that he accuses me of lying about my private life in 1986 and 87, when I decided not to seek re-election to Parliament because of the 4 charges of gross indecency, which I pleaded guilty to. Those charges are no longer offences, surrounded the issue of the age of consent, which differed in the homosexual case, I'm a homosexual, compared with the heterosexual case, 21 in the first, 16 in the latter. And also the defence that I thought I had did not apply in the homosexual case to the heterosexual case. These are details that I think goes over the head of Mr. O'Brien. He's supposed to be a liberal, in inverted commas. He's nothing of the sort. He's a liar.
OK. Well, Harvey, thank you very much for coming on, for telling your story, and for, I think this is the first television interview that you've done on it since you released the Daily Telegraph article. So I'm sure you'll be in demand to tell this story again on other outlets. We do appreciate you coming here first. And well done for surviving all of this. because it's the kind of thing that a lot of people would have gone under over. So thank you very much. Harvey Proctor there, a man who's basically been vindicated, hasn't he? I will say again, because Harvey was using some quite strong language there, possibly less strong than I would use if I'd have been accused of similar stuff that James O'Brien has said. Called James O'Brien a liar. Look, James O'Brien might deny he's a liar, and we have reached out to LBC for comment, so there we go. We're going to have to park that one there, really. But it's just an absolutely unbelievable story, really, to think about when James O'Brien comes across one of the good guys, doesn't he? He wants to be one of the good guys, and then you think he's willing to do that. I find that quite astonishing. Have we got time to do the story about the wealth tax? No, we're going to have to do it after the break. We let Harvey run there, but I think that's fair enough, really. When we come back, we've got loads more coming for you, including, yes, there's a wealth tax that's about to come into force, apparently, and...
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history.
Oh, I've got a book out now. I wrote a book on it. I'll see in a minute.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Some lively weather in the forecast, but for many places tomorrow's going to be fine, dry and bright. So there'll be a few showers here and there and quite a brisk and fresh wind blowing. There's a ridge of high pressure trying to topple in. This weather front clearing away brought some heavy downpours across the south through the day, steadily pulling away now. So many places will become dry overnight, but that breeze increasing across the east, bringing more cloud and a few scattered showers here and across North Wales and northern Scotland, one or two coming into Northern Ireland too. But for many places, it will be dry, a little fresher than recent nights. Temperatures at 13, 14 towns and cities, but a little lower in the countryside. On to Friday, and as I said, by and large, dry and bright for the most part, but there will still be a few showers around. Not as many and not as heavy as the downpours we've seen today across the south. Generally here a sunny start, but a few showers coming into Wales, Northern Ireland early on. They should tend to fade away. Always the risk of showers coming in and the northwesterly breeze across the northwest of Scotland. And there's this zone of thicker cloud out in the North Sea. That is going to make for quite a grey day on some of these North Sea beaches over eastern England. And at times a little bit of drizzly rain moving in, and that breeze will make it feel pretty fresh here. Inland, we'll also see a few showers bubbling up, northwest England, the Midlands, perhaps into the southeast of England as well, but still pretty well scattered, and as I said, not the hefty downpours that we've seen today. Many places dry, bright with a bit of sunshine, temperatures getting up into the high teens, low 20s, so about average for the time of year, feeling a bit fresher perhaps than it has done. Certainly a fresh start to the weekend, but for quite a few of us, Saturday's a good-looking day. Dry, sunny spells, just the odd shower across eastern parts of England. Clouding over in the northwest later on, and that is a sign of a change. Feeling quite warm on Saturday afternoon, but some wet and very windy weather heading our way for Sunday and particularly Monday.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Loads on tomorrow's newspaper front pages. We've already covered that story about the government essentially spying on your tweets. The Times have got 1 in 8 of all prisoners were born overseas. We've covered that quite a lot. Foreign criminal story. A new story that you might not have heard is this. On the front of The Guardian, top Labour MP urges Reeves to consider a wealth tax. Paul, I'm going to throw this over to you. This is Annalise Dodds, isn't it, talking about a wealth tax? Right.
Yeah, we've not seen much of her, have we? But one thing I would say is this is the most ridiculous thing I can imagine that anybody could try, on the basis that we have borrowed so much money under the Labour government that we cannot afford to pay back because we don't have a plan for growth. The idea of taxing the very people that just might generate that growth is incredible to me. There's nothing funny about it. You know, I'm here to try and lighten things up. The idea that there are adults out there that have gone past 18 years old and thought this type of politics is still worthwhile is nuts.
I mean, what do you make of this, Anna?
I mean, hallelujah to what Paul's just said. I think we have a budding politician.
Yes, I could be.
For
what party?
For the Tory benches.
Sorry, I'm on the Tory bench. I don't think I could join Matthew's party.
I'm not going to give up. I think it's going to be brilliant. No, this is absolutely nonsense, isn't it? Complete and utter nonsense. She's obviously auditioning to be part of another front bench, I suppose. But I mean, the IFS have done research on this, showing that this doesn't work. You know, obviously the wealthy people, as Paul has said, that they go elsewhere, and most countries have abandoned this. And in fact, what she should be talking about, what the Labour Party, what all politicians should be talking about, is the tax avoidance that is still going on in this country from the big American tech companies. You know, even
we've had to give in to Trump on that. We've tried with the digital services tax. We've been, you know, Trump doesn't like it. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think this is Annalise Dodds, who people may not remember was because she didn't make too much of an impact. Was the International Development Minister? Was actually used to be quite a close friend of Keir Starmer's in their early days in Parliament, and she resigned when Starmer cut international development funding to pay for increased defence spending.
So she's not content with just tossing British taxpayers' money away abroad willy-nilly.
Investing it in some of the poorest people in the world.
You know, that's the thing, isn't it? That word investment gets used by Labour whereas what they mean is spaffing. That's really what it is. But now we go to
teaching women in
brilliant. Yeah, we're just gonna go. I tell you what, if we give the Ugandans this, they'll definitely go to where they tell us it's going to. Anyway, so she says now that she wants a wealth tax here. Is she just a bit of a lunatic?
Well, this is a big debate in the Labour Party about whether or not a wealth tax should happen. She actually, to be Guardian, slightly overselling it because she hasn't called for a continuing wealth tax. Right. She has called for a one-off levy on millionaires, which is recommended by an economist called Aaron Advani, apparently, rather than having a kind of permanent wealth tax.
But it always is going to be a one-off, isn't it? Because
some of them want it permanent.
No, but no millionaire's going to be here for the second bite, are they?
I've just been reminded in my ear that income tax was a temporary measure for the Napoleonic Wars. That stuck around, hasn't it?
Good point. Can't blame that on Matthew, but I'm going to find a way in the break.
I'm not that old.
No, we got to be the same age, haven't we?
Yeah, which side were you on in the Napoleonic Wars, Matthew? That's what I want to know.
Good
point. Johnny Foreigner side.
Cut that bit.
Can we do?
Yeah, that's being reported right now.
Right now, yeah, get on to it. Peter Khan will be all over that like a rash. Anyway, the Times. Can we just do this? Sorry, it's the work from home story. Working from home today, ? We know you clock off at 3. It's 3 p.m. on Friday and you're working from home. It must be time to log off, jump in the car. Remote workers are switching off from 3 p.m. That's according to a survey. So they've even fessed up to it.
Which tells you it's a lie, by the way. It's probably more like midday.
Yeah.
They're going, 3 p.m, yes, because 3 p.m.
Apparently this is because the broadband company Virgin Media said there's an 8% dip in traffic between 3 and 5 p.m. Now, I think they could be over-interpreting. People going to do the school run between 3 and 5 p.m, but it only happens on a Friday. So maybe that is the reason why.
Or they could actually, by 3 o'clock, finally be getting round to some work, and they might be focusing so hard that
they're not streaming cat videos or other things that Peter Kyle wouldn't like.
10% of people said they'd taken their work laptop to a pub garden.
Superb.
OK, nobody's confessing to that.
Yeah.
But we remain the working from home champions of Europe. Not just 42%, or partially, and an average of 1.8 days compared to 1.3 for the year.
How's the economy? How's the economy doing, Paul?
It's in the gutter, Patrick. It's absolutely in the gutter. I tell you what, what? Just tax them. Why not? Tax laptops, tax the broadband. What do you want, Matthew? For goodness' sake.
Stop the vaping.
Is that what that is?
Smoking in the pub garden. So at least Labour stopped that.
But do you know what?
For now.
This is actually a serious problem, because if you've got kids like I have in their early 20s wanting to do work experience, they go into these firms, they're all keen, and then Friday
there's an issue. Yeah, nobody's there to let the intern in.
I don't know how much time we got, Patrick. We're all of an age, us three in particular, where working on a Friday used to mean going to the pub at lunchtime and perhaps never coming back.
Yeah.
The drinking culture at work doesn't really exist anymore, so they're just doing it via another route, aren't they? We all went to the pub on a Friday.
When I first worked at ITV, they used to bring a drinks trolley round at 3:30, 4 o'clock.
That explains it all.
I did my best for a while to try to reintroduce the drinking culture
single-handedly.
It turned out it was just me, and it was all the time.
You did a great job, though, mate.
Someone had to have a word about that. So
in Parliament, you know, the receptions are going on all day, not just on a Friday.
And this is why I want to be a politician.
Hey, talking of drinking culture, Kamala Harris has hinted that she is eyeing... Oh, come on, she's not. She's eyeing a 2028 run.
She might be, nobody else is.
But she says eyeing. One of her eyes is reading the bill, the other one's reading the menu, isn't it? I mean, anyway, declaring that the fight takes a while whilst announcing the publication of her tell-all book. A failed presidential nominee confirmed she's publishing her journal from her time on the campaign trail. It's just called 107 Days. It's the length of her brief run. Here she was on X.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history.
107 days. Monsters. Oh, gosh. Paul, what do you make of Kamala Harris's new book?
I can't wait to read it. 107 days, that's all it was. It felt like forever, didn't it? It did feel like forever.
Twice as many as the Liz Truss...
Liz, get over it, Matthew. Different country, different time. 100...
See, you are a politician.
I'm getting good at this, aren't I? God, all I need now is a duck house and I'll be made. Look. That's Cockney rhyming slang. Look, what I would say is 107 days. I can't believe that. I mean, what's the book going to tell us other than how to fail spectacularly? It can't tell us anything positive, can it?
It's obviously therapeutic or something. Presumably she hasn't got much to do. Maybe she hasn't got a job.
Well, I think she wants to... I mean, she'll make a lot of money out of it.
Well, who's going to buy it?
More than it bought Liz Truss's, I should imagine.
I'm not so sure about that, because Liz Truss's book was actually on policy.
I've heard there's some interesting revelations in Nicola Sturgeon's book as well, but obviously you can't say them now. So, anyway, it's the great replacement... No, I really can't say what I think they are. Anyway, it's a great replacement of...
Keir Starmer.
The name Keir has gone extinct, but I'm going to be joined by a Keir very shortly, but I won't say who. Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you or anyone you know is heading further afield this weekend, it's going to be very wet in northern Italy and Slovenia. Fine elsewhere, just 1 or 2 showers for the Canaries, a brisk breeze for Madeira. That breeze actually bringing some warmth to Portugal and to parts of Spain as well. But it's for northern Italy into Slovenia, parts of Croatia. We're going to see some very wet weather over the next few days, that transferring southeast into parts of Greece early next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
you want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Keir no more. Keir today, gone tomorrow. Anyway, just 1 year after Sir Keir Starmer became Prime Minister, for the first time on record, no parents in Britain have called their baby Keir. In 2023, there were 4 Keirs, but alas, in 2024, none. So, is the Prime Minister's unpopularity to blame? There's only one person to ask. Keir Giles, who happens to be an expert on Russia at Chatham House, but he was in our phone book and he's agreed to come on at this time of night. Thank you very much, Keir. You're an endangered species now, aren't you? How do you feel to be one of the few Keirs?
Well, I've always been an endangered species, and Keir Starmer coming along, it's a mixed blessing. Now, at least, I don't have people asking me how to spell it or giving me a blank look whenever I give the name. For the whole of my life, I've been going to restaurants and Starbucks and giving the name as Bob when I'm asking, who's going to pick this up, because it saves the conversation about what's Keir, where does it come from. So that's gone by the by, but I'm not surprised that people are not calling anybody Keir now. Because the one question they'll always be asked is, well, that was after that Keir Starmer bloke, wasn't it? And nobody wants to be saddled with that label from now on.
No, absolutely not. No redeeming features whatsoever. Sir Keir's parents named him after Keir Hardie, the founder and first parliamentary leader of the Labour Party. So I suppose he was doomed, really, wasn't he, in that sense? The name originates from Ireland, derives its meaning from the Irish word... I'm going to pronounce it, dove, but I don't think that's how you say it. Why don't I ask you? Yes, so where does it come from?
Well, I read the same article in the Times as you did going into all this, and how they get the word Keir from the word dove, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, it's supposed to mean black or mighty chieftain or something like that. But really, I think Keir Starmer's parents, whatever reason they gave him the first name, he should have gone with Rodney, which is his middle name, because he's much more of a Rodney, really, than he is a Keir. And everybody would have understood where he stood if he'd gone with Rodney Starmer.
Exactly. Is it actually quite... So Keir is also... Well, crucially, we should probably also at this point point out that the most popular baby name for the second year in a row is Mohammed. And, in fact, there are 3 different variations on the name Mohammed in the top 100, which is remarkable. But, so, Mohammed had a great result. There's a certain irony there, of course, because Sir Keir Starmer has basically lost the Muslim vote in Britain. So, you know, he's been beaten by that as well. Yeah, so would you now like to give a plea to people who are about to have children to start to bring back Keir?
I think it makes a statement now, and if that's the statement you want to make, if this government we have at the moment is the one you want to associate your kid with for the rest of their life, then go right ahead. But you can see why it's dropped off the charts altogether. You really can.
Well, I think now that you've been on, and you're obviously a very cool guy, and you're in California, and you've done well for yourself, and you're an expert on stuff like Russia, I think people are going to start naming their kids Keir because of you. So thank you very, very much. Keir Giles. Well done, Keir Giles. Thank you. Take care. Enjoy California. Paul's got your name written all over this story, so...
Yeah, no, it's not got my name at all, has it? That's the point. There aren't many Pauls either, I wouldn't have thought now.
Yeah. Why not?
Patrick's fallen out of fashion as well.
No, it's not, mate. Don't know where you got that. Do you think it's narcissistic to name your child after yourself?
No.
Yes.
I think it probably is.
No, there's lots of...
You've got a baby name choice coming.
I'm not going to call it Patrick.
Middle name Patrick?
Could be middle name.
What's your middle name?
Michael.
Patrick Michael.
Yeah.
Should call it Michael Patrick.
Michael is the name most associated with financial success. It said in the
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Loads of wealthy Michaels.
My camel came out. Oh, being so we got.
I thought whether that Keir's parents were Labour people.
I don't know. Yes, sorry, I didn't hear that because I've been screamed at in my ears. So I've got to do a quick roundup of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. The Guardian, they go with the mathematics of starvation, how Israel caused a famine in Gaza. The Times, 1 in 8 of all prisoners were born overseas. The Sun, Hammer Gang's gem raid on Harry Redknapp. The Daily Telegraph, Labour bids to silence migrant hotel critics. The Daily Express, record number of foreign sex offenders in British prisons. The Mail, proof Starmer's smashed the gangs campaign is a joke. They go off about the numbers from the Channel. The Mirror, poisoned at summer camp. Watch this story, because I think we're going to get a development on this. If you're watching us, and it's now the morning on Friday, I would have thought that maybe by the time that Britain's Newsroom comes along, we might have a development here. Since this elderly man is accused of poisoning children at a summer camp. Right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to my wonderful panel. As always, it's been a mad show now. I quite enjoyed it. And thank you to everyone who's worked on the show. I don't mean that, you just shouted at me. Have a good morning, everybody.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Some lively weather in the forecast, but for many places tomorrow's going to be fine, dry and bright. So there'll be a few showers here and there and quite a brisk and fresh wind blowing. There's a ridge of high pressure trying to topple in. This weather front clearing away brought some heavy downpours across the south through the day, steadily pulling away now. So many places will become dry overnight, but that breeze increasing across the east, bringing more cloud and a few scattered showers here and across North Wales and northern Scotland, 1 or 2 coming into Northern Ireland too. But for many places, it will be dry, a little fresher than recent nights. Temperatures at 13, 14 towns and cities, but a little lower in the countryside. On to Friday, and as I said, by and large, dry and bright for the most part, but there will still be a few showers around. Not as many and not as heavy as the downpours we've seen today across the south. Generally here a sunny start, but a few showers coming into Wales, Northern Ireland early on. They should tend to fade away. Always the risk of showers coming in and the northwesterly breeze across the northwest of Scotland. And there's this zone of thicker cloud out in the North Sea. That is going to make for quite a grey day on some of these North Sea beaches over eastern England. And at times a little bit of drizzly rain moving in, and that breeze will make it feel pretty fresh here. Inland, we'll also see a few showers bubbling up, northwest England, the Midlands, perhaps into the southeast of England as well, but still pretty well scattered, and as I said, not the hefty downpours that we've seen today. Many places dry, bright with a bit of sunshine, temperatures getting up into the high teens, low 20s, so about average for the time of year, feeling a bit fresher perhaps than it has done. Certainly a fresh start to the weekend, but for quite a few of us, Saturday's a good-looking day. Dry, sunny spells, just the odd shower across eastern parts of England. Clouding over in the northwest later on, and that is a sign of a change. Feeling quite warm on Saturday afternoon, but some wet and very windy weather heading our way for Sunday and particularly Monday.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you can win big, as there's an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash to be won. What would you spend it on? The holiday of a lifetime? Or just sit back, relax and remove some of those day-to-day financial stresses? Lines close on the 1st of August, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, welcome to Farage with me, Alex Armstrong. But just because Nigel's not here doesn't mean I won't be taking the establishment to town tonight. I've got the former architect of that online safety bill coming on the show, so stay tuned for that, because backlash is growing against that government safety bill, with many accusing the government of censorship. The regulator Ofcom is now investigating pornography websites who are failing to implement age checks. So is it time for the government to reconsider? And fresh protests broke out last night, this time in Waterlooville in Hampshire, after government plans to house asylum seekers in brand new high street flats was revealed. I'll be joined by a local councillor who's fighting to make sure those proposals do not go ahead. And US President Donald Trump today celebrated what he's called is a victory over woke